everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I have this fabric right here that my brother very kindly got for me when he went to Bali, and to me it's giving like boho vibes, and I want to make an outfit or a top inspired by that kind of style. And I'm not exactly sure how much fabric I have here, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to make more than a top, but I'm not exactly sure if I'll be able to make pants or skirt on top of it. But yeah, as for right now, I want to make a top out of this. So I did not have as much fabric as I thought I did and only had enough to make a top. But that's okay. And for the pattern, I cut out the rectangle with little mountain-like peaks on each side, with one side of the mountain higher than the other. The back was the same as the front, except that the middle portion, so the neckline, was higher. And for the sleeves, I used a pattern I already had, just lengthened. But in essence, it's just a headboard shaped shape, which I cut two of, one for each arm. It was quite a cloudy, rainy day, but sometimes I like these kind of days because it just feels cozy and I just want to snuggle up at home and it just has such a nice vibe to it. Going back to the top, I sewed the two side seams together. For all the seams on this whole top, I used French seams to give it a nice finish so no edges fray. And in case you don't know what that is, it's when you sew the fabric wrong size together before trimming down the seams and flipping it around to sew them right size together, encasing in the raw edges. Then I took the sleeves and sewed up the long sides, making it into a tube. Now I have the body and two sleeves, so I'm going to attach them together. I pinned the armhole curve of the sleeve to the armhole curve of the top, and I know it's not always good to use French seams on a curve, but I find that it works quite well. You just have to make sure to cut down the seams small enough. Once that was done, I went on to hemming the bottom of the top. I made it quite wide because I'm going to use this as the channel to put the elastic through. And I kept a little bit unsewn so that there would be an opening for me to insert the elastic through. And I did the same thing for the sleeves. But for the neckline of the top, I made a small hem because I was going to make a separate channel which I would sew on all the way around. But if you want to do this part the same as the other one, that would work as well. This is the channel I made. It was just a strip of fabric which I folded over both the long edges, and I just made sure it was wide enough for my elastic. And I'll just pin it all the way around the neck and shoulder line because the shoulder part should connect with the front and back neckline so that it goes all the way around in a loop. For the elastics, I cut two the size of my wrist, one the size of my waist, and one that would go around my chest, back, and over my shoulders. Depending on the length of this elastic, you can get different size necklines. And I just threaded all the elastics through their respective channels. Once it came all the way around, I sewed the two ends together and sewed up the opening to close up the channel. And that pretty much completes the top. I really like how it turned out, and I think the style of this top matches the print of the fabric really well. And since I liked it so much, I decided to make another one, though a little bit longer because this one came out a bit shorter than I wanted it. I am going to make the next one red as well, just because I had a lot of this fabric, which was actually bed sheets. But that was perfect because it already came with elastic, so I could just repurpose that. And this was actually left over from my previous video making the red dress inspired by bells, which I recommend you watch. Getting all that elastic out was quite the arm workout, but when it was finally all out, I proceeded to making the top exactly the same way as before, except adding 3.5 inches to the length of it because, as I mentioned, I wanted to make it a little bit longer. I didn't really show you what the full pattern pieces looked like before, so here it is. And I put the tape measure on it for size reference. The one on the upper left is the front piece, the one below that is the back, and the one on the right side is the sleeve. Then I decided to make matching pants because I really wanted to, and because I had so much of this red bedsheet and I really needed a way to use them. I have a tutorial on these pants, so you can click in the upper right hand corner if you're interested in making them as well. I really like this style of pants and I've been wearing it pretty much every day, so I wanted to add another one to my collection. Oh, and for the waistband, I recommend ripping the fabric because it's really fun. And it gives you perfectly straight edges. I also only used French seams for this pair because I hate fraying fabric, and I would say it worked quite well. It looks a little bit better when you use knit fabrics for these kind of pants, but I still like them. And this is the finished set. I considered painting some little patterns on the top because I thought that would be fun, but I decided against it. I don't really know why. Maybe it would have looked good, but overall, I like what I made. And something else I wanted to mention is that when we get flowers, we sometimes hang them upside down to dry like this. And then it turns into these really pretty dried flowers. And I got the amazing idea to cover it in resin. So I basically just painted on UV resin and cured it as I went. And it turned out like this, and I think it looks so good. It also makes them a lot less fragile and sturdier, so I think that also makes them longer lasting. And now I really want to make more. And I also did it to this big rose, and I think it's just so beautiful. Like, look how pretty it is. And this is that rose with my matching outfit I just made. Bye!